Welcome back, Legends, to episode 7 of the tutorials for Grand Fleet Admiral. This time we are going to go over advanced tactics, strategy, and electronic warfare. So now that you've learned most of everything that the game has to encompass, you can take all of that and bring it together to maximize your efficiency with your battle groups and coordinate them for the optimal impact. You can exploit the weaknesses in your enemy targets and identify the vulnerabilities in their fleets. You can control the battlefield and use positioning and terrain to your advantage. And like I always stress, you need to master those templates and organize your fleet for absolute success. So you can coordinate your battle groups by combining their strengths to effectively fight your opponent in any type of engagement that you are trying to seek. You can use your combat groups to engage the enemy head on. You can position auxiliary groups to provide support to other groups. You can deploy multiple torpedoes to disrupt vulnerable targets. And you can create overlapping roles so you can create a flexible and resilient fleet. A little note on those torpedoes: you can use them a little bit further than most weapons can reach. So if you have a battle group that's screening your torpedo group, you can have them actually absorb any incoming fire compared to what you're shooting at. So you can keep launching torpedoes at a relatively slow speed but still be covered by a battle group that's much stronger and can absorb a lot more damage than your torpedo ships. So understanding those aspects brings you to the counterplay aspect, so you can anticipate what the enemy is doing and try to predict their next activation based on the battle group tokens being drawn, whether it's the 1-bag or the 2-bag system. Also, you adapt your strategy and shift your focus to objectives or the weaker battle groups when needed. And always try to deny the opportunities of your opponent by using the terrain, positioning, and different distractions you can incorporate to disrupt the enemy's plans. A very successful tactic is to outmaneuver and trap your opponent within the terrain and use faster ships to flank enemy battle groups, forcing them into unfavorable positions. By combining flanking with a pinning force, you can trap and destroy high-value targets. So always keep pressure on vulnerable ships while maintaining cohesion for that defense. Now we're going to talk about the last mechanic that we need to in this game, and it is electronic warfare. What is it? What is electronic warfare? Well, it's to disrupt your enemy plans. If they think they're going to do one thing, you can use these ships to shut them down and make them suffer the wrath of that electronic warfare. You can jam your enemy targeting systems, disrupt their cohesion, and weaken their shields or weapons. You have 4 different levels of abilities depending on the ship that you're taking. Level 1 abilities, anything from a close range sensor blackout to different targeting interference. And each one of those shows their trait description below it, and they also are incorporated in the core rule books. The level 2 abilities, you can either have countermeasures or minefield interference. Your level 3 abilities, you have either the sensor ghost or target painting, which is one of my favorites. You can use, basically, you practically can use get that ship twice, but the one with the electronic warfare ship, you don't even have to roll a dice, it's just automatically applied and allows you to pick what ship you're going to shoot at. Very effective. And finally, you have the strongest one of them all, the level 4 ability, Widespread System Attack. And this model can shut down weapon systems on any ship within 16 inches. But it's one ship, not all of them within 16. It's just one ship of your choosing. So the most effective, logical thing to do is to use that on the highest damaged ship within 16 inches so they cannot apply damage to you or shoot at you until its next activation. So to use electronic warfare effectively, you're going to disrupt key enemy battle groups while coordinating your own. And you can reduce their ADS systems to pave the way for your ordnance strikes. You can jam their ships to reduce their mobility and focus your electronic warfare with flanking and pinning to maximize the damage and the chaos you create within that battle group. But there are some steps that you can counter electronic warfare. If you are encountering one of these ships, you can focus fire on the ship to neutralize their effects. You can use the terrain to hide your vulnerable battle groups in nebula or behind planets or moons so they cannot actually use their systems on your battle group. And you can also deploy the interceptors to engage and destroy the electronic warfare ships as well. So some pro tips for some advanced tactics here is always plan your fleets to be synergistic with each other and ensure your battle groups complement each other's roles. Use electronic warfare and other trickery to exploit gaps in your opponent's strategy. Use flanking and pinning to dominate those critical points, and always adapt to every turn and activation, and stay flexible and adjust your plan based on initiative tokens and enemy moves, depending on if you're playing the 1 or 2 bag system. But that brings us to the end of the bulk of the slideshow material. That is now over, except for episode 9. We're gonna go back into a slideshow again. But episode 8, we're gonna delve into the lore and the factions of Grand Fleet Admiral. And this is going to dive deep into the rich lore and unique factions of the game. As you can see here, of Earth 2361, you have the 2 largest factions, the Anglo-European Alliance and the Sino-Russian Pact, while you have other factions still in control of land on Earth. You have Neo-Islam, you have the Polar League, the Peruvian Empire, the United African League, and the Central American Federation. And while you have the Broken States and the Wasteland, people living a more backwardish, kind of older living, scrapping things, trying to make do. But we will get into all of that in the next episode for the series of tutorial videos for Grand Fleet Admiral. So once again, thanks for hanging around, and hit that like and subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next one.
We are not alone. They are among us. As the skies light up, they believe we are blissfully unaware. But this activity by non-human extraterrestrial technology